And welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and hanging out with me, as always, is Mr. Robert Thomas from Over the Second.
Good to be here.
We changed it up again. I'm doing the names.
You're just doing what you want.
Yeah.
It's a lawless land.
Christopher, the Spy Master Carnicelli.
Oh,
Hey.
What's
Spy
up?
Master.
wow.
I've
Spy
seen things
Smasher.
today. I've seen things today.
Chris had a mission. He had a couple missions today. I spoke with him during my lunch break, and you've been very, very busy, my friend. You are the front line defense of your habitat.
You know what? I am. And I might be busier in the next month or two.
Well, I have a good feeling about this. I
Okay.
think things are going to work out. I'm Mr. Positivity over here today.
Yeah, someone needs to be.
Nice. Thank you all for joining us, Cryptonaut Podcast. Top of the show, I'm going to mention a couple things here. We have merchandise available if you would like to support us and make some purchases, get your summertime gear on. We got hellerspace.com, which is our t-shirt shop. We also have cryptonautmerch.com, which is our crowdmate shop. Each of them have exclusive designs. Feel free. Summer's going to be there. Get yourself some tank tops.
Hell yeah.
Get yourself a shirt like I do and just cut the sleeves off and go complete dirtbag style like this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, dude, I got all kinds of airflow down here.
I see.
And yet my tits,
I couldn't do that. I just don't feel right in that kind of shirt.
my titties are sweating.
I know.
I got like a rind, like a wet thing underneath it.
Yeah.
Sucks. I don't know why I called it a rind.
Summertime blues.
I ain't peeling it, but whatever. And of course, obviously, if you want to support us monthly, you can go to patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast, where we have bonus audios available and an exclusive Discord server.
Yes, we do.
Figured I'd put that up front of the show since we always mention it in the back. Some people might miss it. They might not know.
True.
So, and also, too, the links for everything, all of that will be located in the description of this podcast. You don't even got to type anything in, buddy. You just got to click. Put a little thing, boom, look at notes. There you go. Click, click, click. And there's also a link here, Robert, to the Devil's Academy, which you're featured in, which is now on Max,
Yes, it is.
which is a part of the HBO family.
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah.
You made it, dude.
I guess so.
Okay, Uncle Bobby on Skinamax.
I already was. The real Cinemax.
Oh,
I had a cameo as like fat guy in the strip club in a movie that played on Skinamax like, I don't know, 20 years ago.
give the deets. What's the title?
That's no one's business.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. It's called, I think it went out under the title Blowing Smoke.
Okay, all right. Well, if you ever looking for a
Steve Zahn, Josh Hamilton, I think they were, I definitely know they were the stars.
No one knows who those people
Yeah,
are.
they do.
They're pretty fucking huge.
No, it was fun.
Yeah,
It's just a
that's
local
awesome.
movie, and I was friends with the producer and the director, and so they just said, "Hey, you look like the kind of guy that'd be at a titty club," and I said, "I certainly do."
Yeah.
And now
So I've already
you've
broken
chosen
my
wisely.
Cinemax cherry years ago
Awesome.
in a barely seen silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now I guess I'm on the HBO Max / Solo Max because I think they've upgraded.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yay, good
There it
times,
is.
great oldies.
All right, man. Well, there you have it. This week, boys, we got Amphibious Anthropoids. Did I say it right, Robert?
You did.
I did. Okay, I said amphibious. I'm like, I don't know if that's how you say amphibious.
It's exactly how you say it.
Amphibious?
Amphibious.
Amphibious anthropods.
Nope. Anthropoids.
Anthropoids. It's me.
Anthropods-
My anthropoids.
They're a whole different thing.
All right. Awesome.
Anthropods are human-like.
I mean, we've been living like in,
Arthropods.
I was going to say
or
it's
something
different
else.
from arthropods.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I almost said anthropods, but you didn't get the full title. We're limiting the scope of our amphibious anthropoids.
Did I screw this up again?
Yeah, but that's okay. I love it.
Oh, dude! And this makes it even better because this is coming out in July. Fucking USA, baby.
USA.
Amphibious Anthropoids, USA.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
USA. USA.
Too late.
USA, dude.
No, you missed
I
it.
know.
You don't get to start the chant now. You can't save yourself that easily.
Dude, give me the slow clap as I come into the auditorium.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Hey, this is cool, though, dude. We're going back to monsters.
Yes, we are.
I'm super excited.
Our bread and butter.
The
Our
bet,
old school joy.
the bet sphere was a journey.
It was.
We all went on
Was.
together. We lost Chris for a minute.
Yep.
Yep, we got him back, though.
We took a vacation.
Smartly in the middle of the saga.
I mean, that's what you got to do pretty
Dude,
much.
Labor Day, Labor Day happens, man. So
It
we've
does.
told people before we're going to be taking time off occasionally. We
UFOs
need to
attacked. We had to deal with it.
Yeah, we need to fucking take vacations, and when alien disclosure happens, we have to do that regardless. Amphibious Anthropoids, USA, Let's get started with from fetid, stump-ridden swamps to murky lakes infested with slippery tentacle-like strands of seaweed that wrap around your ankles with uncanny strength, to backwater bayous and even roadside drainage ditches. Life thrives in the dark, wet corners of our world. In this episode, we're exposing some of these strange, semi-aquatic critters to the light.
To the light, to Gandalf.
Did I say semi correctly?
I think so.
I said semi, not semi.
I think you can say it either way. I say semi.
Semi.
Sema.
Semi-erect.
Semi-erector.
So here we are.
Semi.
Back in Monsterland where we belong. And that's the most important thing.
I'm so excited. I am so excited. Robert, let's get started.
This is sort of, it's not a direct sequel, but a kind of continuation on episode 224, Gonzo Green Things, which was called Amphibious Anthropoids Running Wild in the subtitle. There, we dealt with more international flavored, weird, wet things. So if this is your jam, by all means, go back and listen to 224. But it's not a direct sequel. We're dealing with weird, wet things in America at this point.
You do?
Dude.
I know a lot of weird, wet things.
And this... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this comes out on July 3rd.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
dude.
You know why?
It was almost like it was for Baby America.
Yeah, that's right. America.
Baby Uncle Sam, here's
Yeah,
your gift from us.
Wet anthropoids.
That's what every baby wants.
Yes.
Maybe an eagle will fly over your house and drop off a wet anthropoid.
Scaly
for
eagle.
your
dude.
July 3rd present. And maybe it'll have a bottle rocket in its mouth.
It would have to.
With report.
Yeah.
Oh, bless it. I love it.
Oh, God, I'm so wet over here. All right, Robert, let's do this.
Have you ever found yourself staring out into a vast, impenetrably black expanse of water and feel an icy chill run up your spine simply imagining the unfathomable horrors that might be lurking just below its silently rippling surface? While others only see pristine natural splendor or a cool place to indulge in a refreshing respite from the thick, sticky summer heat, we know better. Today, we take a deeper look at the wide array of wet weirdos, again, my favorite phrase, that folks claim to have encountered all across America.
Yeah, we're going fucking road tripping, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Let's get in the truck, fucking strap in, get some pizzas, fucking road beers.
We got a specific tour guide.
Okay.
And I'll be getting to this right now.
All right. I like the voice. It's bringing it out. It's making me fucking feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Though nowhere near as famous as their fuzzy, flat-footed cousins from the rainforest-rich Pacific Northwest, North America paranormal lore is nevertheless chock full of brief yet bizarre run-ins with what can only be classified as amphibious anthropoids. These often bipedal and almost always bucolic beasts range from South Carolina's rapacious tri-taloned reptilian monstrosity known as the lizard man of Scape or Swamp, which will get its own pod in due time. It's a classic case. To British Columbia's small, silver-scaled, skull-finned aberration of natural selection, the Thetis Lake Monster.
Our old friend.
Yeah, which we covered. Oh, gosh, I know I wrote down the pod somewhere, but one of our early pods.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the local gator, frog, and salamander men lurking in between. In his extraordinary and deliciously old-school treatise on enigmatic entities, the Inhumanoids, Real Encounters with Beings That Can't Exist, author Barton M. Nunley captures that feeling of wide-eyed wonder one gets when stealing a glimpse into a hidden or forbidden realm. It was that same sensation I used to get as a kid while lost in a classic collection of paranormal lore by the likes of Ivan T. Sanderson, John Keel, Tim Dinsdale, Janet and Colin Board, or Peter Costello, just to name a few. This shared notion, which so many of us crypto kids can identify with, and I call us crypto kids. Monster kids are for baby boomers that like the movies, and I love those movies too. Okay. But crypto kids are for all of us that grew up in the generation of documentaries and books with, like, whether you're into ESP, UFOs, and mystery kids. Crypto in the classic Latin sense.
Yeah, so we didn't have
we're coining that phrase.
There was no Slender Man. We didn't have creepypastas.
No, well, that's fake stuff, so that doesn't count.
We had documentaries.
But there are certainly a new generation of crypto kids that are, maybe they're listening to this podcast, maybe whatever. But it continues on and on. But we've never had a proper designation the way Monster Kid was. So
Sure.
throwing it out there. So in a sentiment that we can all identify with, was captured beautifully by Nick Redfern in his introduction to Nunnally's book, the same book in Humanoids, where he wrote, quote, "Back when I was 11 or 12, I used to heartily devour books by the likes of the sadly departed John Keel and Gray Barker, remember him from Vegetable Man fame, that were packed with tale after tale of dark, mysterious, and ominous encounters with strange and alarming life forms of unknown origin. Night after night as a young kid, I would curl up under my bed covers and immerse myself in the pages of The Mothman Prophecies, The Silver Bridge, UFOs, Operation Trojan Horse, and countless other titles of a distinctly strange and unsettling nature. All the time, I would be wondering what unmentionable things might be lurking outside in the darkened corners of my parents' property. And I'm very pleased to say Bart's book skillfully captures the heart and the essence of those classic titles and takes me back to those years when monsters and mysterious beasts first entered my life." End quote. It's a beautiful sentiment and one that really resonated with me, and one that I think will also resonate with many of our listeners. Because I remember, maybe not so much Chris. I think maybe you a little bit, Mark, but I definitely stayed up late at night with piles of library books reading about UFOs and cryptids of all sorts and any other paranormal thing I can get my hands on. Less so ghosts, granted, but still that entered the library too. And I would stay up way too late and I would freak myself the fuck out with every little, bump that fucking came from downstairs or something hit the window or a breeze or who the hell knows what. So I love that. And it's true. So it's an endorsement of Nunnally's book, needless to say, but also that is where most of the stories that we're going to be dealing with tonight come from.
Awesome.
So big shout out.
It is an awesome book too. Check it out if you can. It's on Amazon. You can get it like in a couple of days. It's wicked.
Well worth it if you're into this stuff, and it's fun. And it, like I say, has an old school vibe.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
the Brad Stegery, Frank Edwards vibe that I used to love.
And
quick and to the point.
I love the illustration on the cover.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's so great.
I think Nunnally did that himself.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, awesome.
But back to why we're here. In section 1 of the Inhumanoids, titled The Amphibians, under the heading North American Merfolk, we get an array of fascinating and more often than not frightening encounters with these quasi-aquatic enigmas who seem to be skulking in nearly all of the various bodies of water that occupy the world. Encounters which demand further exploration. So without further ado, our first encounter comes to us from a special dispatch published in the January 17th, 1885 edition of the St. Louis, Missouri Globe Democrat under the unambiguous headline, "A Horrible Monster."
Ah, man, this is back when newspapers were real. This is when shit was real.
That is poppin' title.
It is.
Yeah, dude, Riz. It's all rizzed up.
The story read, Vincennes, Indiana, I'm sure I mispronounced that, January 16. Some hunters were startled a few days ago by the appearance of an uncouth, horrible-looking animal south of the O&M Railroad Bridge over Fox River near Olney. Okay, end quote. Just to do a quick geographical breakdown, the Fox River is a 46-mile tributary of the Little Wabash River in southern Illinois. It rises in Jasper County and flows south past Olney, then joins the Little Wabash at the northeast corner of Edwards County, near Mount Erie. I was not able to specifically find the O&M Railroad Bridge or any specific references to monsters in the Fox River, but fun fact for crypto trivia buffs, Olney is located just 56 miles north of Enfield, Illinois, home of an equally bizarre cryptid, everyone's favorite tripodal sneaker-hating home invader, the good old Enfield Horror. That's episode 4 for those that are interested in our take on that.
That's right. He ate shoes, didn't he?
He attacked shoes with his 3 claws on his 3 legs, and then he tried to tear out an air conditioner to break into a house where kids were panicking because they were alone there without their parents until dad showed up, grabbed a gun, opened the door to expecting probably to see teenage pranksters or whatever, and saw a big-eyed, tiny-armed, 3-legged monster that hopped away screaming.
Damn.
The old Enfield Horror.
Just shredding up kids' shoes.
Right. So this area is just chock full of weird shit, as we'll soon see described. Now back to the Globe Democrat account. After a tough day of hunting, they, quote, had killed but little game and were consoling each other over their bad luck when their attention was attracted by a noise to the top of a fallen tree, and looking up they beheld a monster such as they had never seen before, end quote. The horrid creature that these hunters would describe was unlike anything that they or anyone else had ever seen. As they stared up at what must have been a combination of horror and astonishment, the thing lowered its toothy, blood-slathered maw into the gutted carcass of a dead hog and began to tear off hunks of flesh, which it greedily devoured, apparently unaware that it was being watched by the two human witnesses. The report continued with a depiction of the hellish fiend. Quote, "They described the beast as the ugliest-looking animal they ever saw. Its head and face resemble that of a dark-skinned human, with a very large mouth full of sharp, fang-like teeth. Its neck was 2 or 3 feet long and covered with short red-colored hair. Its body was 5 or 6 feet in length and was covered with scales that looked bright like those of a sunfish. Its tail was 3 or 4 feet long and curved up over its back. Its legs were short and the feet webbed, and the toes had long claws." End quote.
Is this like a yokai or something?
It is 100%.
It's kind of fucked up, yeah.
A baby
Yeah.
dragon yokai with a
Okay.
humanish face full of nothing but incisors, apparently, just
Yeah.
fangs ahoy,
Yeah.
a 2 to 3 foot long neck, a body that I'm assuming is quadrupedal, with webbed feet, scales that are silverish, reflective like a sunfish, maybe rainbow colored in the light. Maybe that's what they mean.
Right.
I haven't caught a sunfish in decades. And just clearly unlike anything that ought to be in that or any other fucking area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, you're not supposed to look up and be like, oh, well, shit, Tom, look what we got up here. Eating a hog in a tree.
Oh, just ripping it apart.
Yeah, on top of a fallen tree?
So
Yeah.
that's another thing. I mean, is it a big tree and
Yeah.
and like so it's like 3 or 4 feet above them maybe because it broke midway through? Is it 10 feet up? There's no further description, so we can only guess.
Yeah. Is it like turkey hut? You know, like how turkeys like roost in trees? Is it like what the fuck up there? Is it like past like raccoon land? Like where are they?
All they say is that the guys looked up,
Yeah.
and assuming they're walking in their average height men, that it had to be, I guess,
Just hanging out in a tree.
I don't know, anywhere from 10 to God
Right.
knows what. But
Yeah.
if it's a fallen tree, you assume it's broken somewhere fairly close to the stump.
So it's probably pre-raccoon land.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
It's all guesswork, really.
Cool. Sweet.
It would be at this point that the hunters, having already failed in their effort to collect any substantial amounts of edible game, decided to negate their losses by capturing this clearly predatory, potentially amphibious, and evidently quadrupedal beast, though God only knows what they intended to do with it afterwards. The account read, quote, "One of the hunters who got too near in trying to throw a rope over its head was struck by the animal's tail, and he tumbled headlong 20 feet away," end quote. Now realizing that it was being stalked by the humans, this hybrid beast, much to the hunter's relief and despite having the higher ground, chose to flee rather than fight, and with uncanny alacrity abandoned the ravaged hog and tore off on webbed feet toward a nearby creek where it disappeared. At this point, some speculation is in order. Did this carnivorous creature run splashing up a shallow creek, or was it actually deep enough for it to be able to dive in? I can't help but to wonder if this creek was merely a trickle that came off of the Fox River, or if perhaps the hunter was colloquially referring to the actual river as a creek. If that is the case, according to Wisconsin EDU, that's WISC.edu, the river has a maximum depth of 21 feet and a general depth of 13, which would make for a comfortable swimming and concealment for comfortable swimming and concealment for a creature that's anywhere from like 7 to 10 feet long, even one as oddly proportioned as the one in question.
Just imagine, dude, this thing's in a tree,
Yeah.
manging on a hog,
Just tearing it
blood
apart.
covered, and
Teeth
then,
all over.
dude. Then it goes to the water. You're like, dude, it was a transmedium,
Oh.
right? Did I say that right?
Look at you.
Transmedium.
Yeah, no, you're getting all the lingo of the
Yeah, 'cause,
time.
dude-
It's a UAP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, this
Oh
is
my
where
God,
this
yeah.
is disclosure. Call Jeremy Corbell immediately.
Oh my God.
Him and I are going to compare beards.
Yeah, fleshy fucking disclosure.
Dude, that guy's got a fucking great beard. But
No doubt.
that's fucking creepy that thing is fucking jets in the water. Because then you're like, I'm not safe anywhere. You could be like,
No.
fuck you, I'm in the water. You
It can
can't come
climb
and
a
get
tree
me.
with its webbed feet that are clawed,
Yeah.
or at least climb a portion of a down tree.
If you're
Who
attacked
knows?
by a turkey, follow this line of thought, and you get in the water, that turkey's fucked. You ain't doing shit.
I mean, I feel like they would
how
run
you
away
can-
too. They're lucky, like you said, this thing fucking ran away.
Yes.
Why would
Yeah.
you even try? Just, I don't know.
Like rope around
Take
the head?
down information. Why would you try? Why?
I guess
Let it, especially if it's way the fuck up.
on the thought that maybe a sideshow or something would pay top dollar, like Barnum and Bailey, or one of the big attractions of the day would be like, oh, you captured this astonishing thing that is dangerous as a tiger, but looks like bizarre as fudge, and it comes from the American homeland, and we can make a pretty penny. And if they could sell it for a couple $1,000s, maybe 10 grand or something, ungodly during this time period, they must have been thinking about wealth and popularity. They certainly weren't thinking about self-preservation.
Right. I mean, I understand all the reasons why, actually, but why? Like,
yes.
It's that kind of why.
If you capture that thing, though, dude, that's a pretty penny probably right there.
True. But I'm with Chris. I'm doing the slow walk backwards.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way I'm getting anywhere near this thing.
I might go head to head with it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Mark's back. He's back.
No, I'm doing this full. I'm gonna die 100%. I'm like, Rob, Chris, this is my time.
Oh my God,
this is my time.
Let me shine. American yokai, not on my watch.
Not in this goddamn 3rd of July. You son of a bitch. God damn it, here I come.
Oh man.
Yeah, this thing, the 3-foot neck, the 2 to 3 foot neck is what really gets me.
Red hair.
The human face and the red hair. Like it's
red
like
hair neck.
I see it like tufts of like a side mane coming down the sides of the neck, but for all I know, it could be like a little giraffe neck that's totally covered in hair, but a bald head and a bald body.
Yeah, I guess
a scaly body.
A little more hairy.
Like
than...
old-timey monsters, though, like especially from like newsprint and shit, like Adam Benedict's book. Like it's not uncommon to have like a weird neck, like the quote the Cahokia dragon, and there's a couple other ones we covered that had weird necks where you're like, why are they so fucking long?
And a lot of the lumberjack critters.
You know why?
Too.
Invasion of yokai was back in the day.
I mean, if humans can,
they were fought off by the who
immigrate. Why not monsters?
The Knights Templar fought them off.
Oh, they did.
Before
they protected the homeland when they came here to hide the fucking Ark.
That's how the Illuminati started.
The Dark Ark.
The Dark Ark of the Covenant. That's the one that conceals the monsters.
That's how the
original Friday
started.
the 13th when the Templars slaughtered the Anthropoids.
Hid
the Ark.
And you're talking about the original Friday the 13th, not just the massacre of the Templars, but the TV show as well, where they were finding artifacts of a possessed nature, which is the secret truth of the Templars told years later and out of context. That's why they called it Friday the 13th, even though it had nothing to do with the movie series, because they were talking about the actual Templar Friday the 13th. Fucking case solved.
I did like that show, but as a kid, I was
so pissed.
I was secretly hoping there was going to be like a machete.
I was
or
pissed
like
too, but I mean,
mask.
they had some really good episodes.
I agree.
It was fun.
You're right. All right, so I say I did not. I watched it plenty with Tales from the Dark Side and Monsters and all the other WPIX horror shit. Werewolf.
You just put yourself in a Halloween 3 state of mind, and you're like,
yeah, you're right. I just had, but the title every time left me pissy.
You're like,
because I wanted to see the week-to-week odyssey of like camp counselors trying to like fix up something, and one or two die, but in the end, the last episode of the season, it's a big massacre.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but no.
I thought for sure there'd be at least some sort of little
like
homage to
there's a haunted hockey.
I didn't think
mask.
a machete.
Yeah,
something.
A bag.
Yeah,
like the mom's
bag. A bag.
A bag.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, you kids out there are going to have to Google Friday the 13th, the series, because that is something that did not make a huge cultural mark.
Or a picture of like the cabin, like at Camp Crystal Lake or something. Anything.
You know, but it did not hold a candle to the ass of the not the Friday the 13th, Jesus Christ, ass, fucking what a turd, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And with that,
well, that was another shitbag anthology that just had Robert Englund, so at least it had some.
It was fun.
It did. I remember 0% of that show.
Yeah, except for the wraparound segments a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, back to
let's get back to
anyway.
I don't even remember where we were. What place were the O&M Railroad Bridge in Edwards County near Mount Erie by the Little Wabash on Fox River. That's what I get for going back a paragraph and reading. So we're back here.
Oh, no.
The article then closed with the fact that, quote, a party has been organized for the capture of this wild animal, adding that the parties who describe it are good men and perfectly reliable.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Okay.
Right.
In no way, shape, or form. Not like smart. They're trying to rope a fucking huge predator, but perfectly reliable. Even the one that got thwacked 20 feet away with a massive tail and probably is suffering some sort of brain damage or at least broken ribs.
These are my people.
With that, as happens all too often in the most intriguing tales of potentially game-changing cryptid encounters, the story ends and there is no follow-up as to what happened next in the hunter's Herculean odyssey to capture this crazy critter. Though one can safely assume, due to the lack of a follow-up, that their efforts met with failure. and it's gone. Just like that. Just like,
Yeah, perfect.
just like
That's-
Charles
I
Fort in his
expect
low.
nothing less.
Just one little taste
more.
and go away, blowing in
That's
the wind.
fun though, dude. I love stories like that. I love encounters. I love shit like that. 'Cause
Oh,
this
that's
is
how it
one and
works.
Done, man. It's cool. There's no Sasquatch bringing you gifts, trying to be your buddy. There's none of that
No,
shit.
but it's better when you have like multiple sightings of something like this.
True.
And it still ends with no other.
Yes.
Those are still better.
True,
It's like,
true.
well, wait, now there's multiple.
You know, when you get something like the Murfreesboro Mud Monster or the Mill Race Monster or any number of them, you're right, where there's multiple eyewitnesses
Right,
in a
yeah.
short window
Then
of
you're like,
time, or the Grafton Monster for that. So many. I agree with Chris. When there's a little monster flap, especially in the 70s, it is the most exciting thing.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
True.
I love that stuff.
Well, moving on, Bobby.
Our next three cases are as brief as they are intriguing, which should totally delight Mark. According to Nunley, sometime in 1937, quote, a horrified angler watched what he described as a green-colored, scaly humanoid emerge from a lake in Saginaw, Michigan, where he was fishing. It stood for a moment on the shore in the shadow of a tree before it splashed back into the water. The witness wasted no time in exiting the area, end quote. Sadly, this account ends with an epilogue suggesting that the eyewitness, quote, allegedly suffered a nervous breakdown because of the experience. Though, in all fairness, regardless of whether or not the actual incident took place, this postscript has all the earmarks of a classic campfire story. And by that, obviously, I mean that, and they went insane. They couldn't take the hook in the fucking side
yeah.
of their Oldsmobile
Yeah.
or whatever it is that drives them to madness.
Well, but
the
I
hair
mean-
turned white and they ran screaming into the streets.
And that could shift your perception of reality completely, where you're like, everything I know is fucking fake now because I just watched this thing crawl out of the fucking river.
That's true.
It could fuck you up.
I'm not saying that there wouldn't be any anxiety following a sighting like this, nor am I suggesting that it didn't happen.
Right.
It seems to me that postscript is a little heavy-handed.
Okay.
But maybe he had other issues. Maybe his wife was getting ready to leave him. The farm's not doing good. He's fishing just to, put another meal on the table, and that was the straw that broke
Yeah.
the camel's back.
Yep.
And, it's not a nervous breakdown is an old misnomer, but, it just was just a bad moment for this dude.
Yeah.
But either way, seeing a scaly green humanoid is what we're here for, and the fuck.
Dude, it came out, it presented itself, and then it went back in the water.
Just like so many.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, no,
honestly.
that's what it did.
If you like that one.
That's what we read. That's what we said. That's what you just said again, and that's what it did.
Master of the recap.
Wow, I like how my recap of your story was then recapped by Chris,
Yeah.
who did it better.
With no sarcasm whatsoever.
He did it way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys both ready for recaps again?
Yeah, we are. Moving
We're into
on.
this
Let's talk about this
of these
next
brief
paragraph
recaps.
7 times
Okay, here we go. Right?
in 16 different ways.
Then in 1944,
Let's do it.
an Alaskan fisherman named Frank Reed, so at least we get a full name, was checking his fish traps when he got the shock of his life. According to an account that was published in an issue of Alaska Life magazine, a publication I should mention that I could find no record of. I mean, I Googled it. I didn't do a deep dive. Who the fuck knows? During the course of his daily angling routine, Frank stumbled across a quasi-humanoid creature with narrow shoulders, a human-like head, and extremely long and exceedingly sharp claws, tearing apart the fish in his trap. So maybe it couldn't quite get in, I don't know.
Okay.
Upon being caught in the act, this Darwinian nightmare, which had what Frank described as a very long tail, dropped the trap and shot off into the water, swimming away at speed, never to be seen again. Finally, oh no, that's it. I'm sorry. Anyone want to recap?
Oh,
Mark?
yeah, So there's this guy.
Long
His
tail.
name was Frank, and he was fishing. And he was in Alaska, but there's a magazine.
enough, good
There's a
enough.
magazine about Alaska that doesn't exist because of the Knights Templar.
But it might exist.
America.
Okay. Finally, sometime during the 1950s, a group of students at the Wahaiwa, I'm surely saying this wrong, elementary school near the Wahaiwa, there it is again, Wahaiwa, I'm going to go with Wahaiwa Reservoir, a 400-acre artificial lake commonly known as Lake Wilson, claimed to have seen what they referred to as a, quote, horrible green lady, end quote, that came complete with scaly skin, long pointed claws, and hair that resembled seaweed. As Lake Wilson boasts over 17 different species of fish and serves as the only freshwater fishing offered on the Hawaiian island of Oahu, It would seem to be a logical place for an amphibious carnivore to live and feed. But of course, that offers no explanation as to how this evidently humanoid creature came to call it home. It is worth noting, however, that as recently as 2003, the Star Bulletin reported on what it called the green monster. But the creature they were referring to was no enigmatic entity, rather an aquatic, free-floating fern native to southeastern Brazil that does not attach itself to the soil, but instead remains buoyant on the surface of a body of water. The plant thrives on nutrient-rich water, and the runoff from agricultural fields, residential neighborhoods with septic tanks, and 3.2 million gallons per day of treated sewage from the U.S.A. wastewater treatment plant, all coming into this clearly polluted lake, this form of plant quickly took over the body of water. Could the Green Lady have been less a cryptid and more of a nature spirit or elemental coming to warn the children of the environmental dangers to come? Who knows? So I know I found an article that said the green monster.
Okay.
It's about this, wild running plant that is basically, when I saw photos of it, now granted this is 20 years old, in 2003, it literally coats the entire lake.
So it is not a monster. It is just like this
Plant.
funky plant.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's a lot of, indigenous cultures especially
Right.
that really believe that there are deities or other intelligences or other creatures that might be just biological like us, but maybe, have abilities that are beyond what we consider to be normal abilities, magical, I guess, for lack of a better explanation, that are there to protect, to warn others, or just to basically coexist with us on the same world, perhaps in another dimension or, in a multiverse type way. And that these things manifest when, these natural pristine places are being damaged.
Dude, it's
a stretch, I'll admit completely. I'm just pissing in the wind on this
It's
one.
like a creepy version of Captain Planet. Yeah, dude.
Captain Revenge.
Yes,
Planet.
Captain Revenge. Yes, dude.
More
yes.
specifically, Swamp Thing.
Oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. How the hell did we miss that? Oh, I'm a man thing. Think of a man.
Think of a man.
Yeah, man thing.
I always liked him.
The green.
Yeah, no, Swamp Thing was always cooler than Man Thing. Man Thing was cool, don't get me wrong, but Swamp Thing was
Well, he went from a 1950s trope of like a scientist with a mistake in a lab that turns
Right.
this dude into like a plant thing, or at least turns plants into the consciousness of a man or whatever, to like a foundational elemental and all the crazy shit he went
Dude,
under,
yeah.
Alan Moore's tenure,
Yeah.
which was fascinating.
Right, he was
part
eating-
of the green,
Yeah, he was eating tubers and getting psychedelic and shit, and then he went to Gotham and he was like, I do not care for your world, Batman. And you're like, oh, fuck, they're going to fight it. They're going to duke it out. What's Batman going to do? He won, obviously.
Hell yeah.
Sort of, though.
Do you beat the nature?
I mean, what are you going to do?
The nature is difficult to tame.
Just to
Yeah.
clarify here with the wastewater treatment plants, since I am an employee of one, okay, as far as the discharge that is put out into the environment, it is effluent water, which is the water which is separated from the sewage, from the sludge and the solids, so just the water portion.
So it's just, is it clean though?
Yeah, actually our effluent, we have, it's called a back T count that you're allowed. You're allowed 200. You know what we do? 0.
Nice.
Yeah, so generally, yes, it is clean.
But we can't speak for what the sewage treatment plant is there. It might not
No,
be 0, but
they-
but this 3.2 million gallons per day is probably not the primary source of the pollutants. It's probably the agricultural runoff and the septic tanks.
The effluent water, though, is amazing for plants because of the shit that it has in it.
Oh, so
like-
it has all
Yeah.
the. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So it's natural fertilizer.
We take it all the time to do flowers and shit or on the plant to like water them, just like water plants. I mean, the waters, it has so much like nutrients and shit grows crazy with it.
That's good to know.
I mean, that could be feeding the fern of death, or the fern of revenge.
Well, I mean, again, along the Swamp Thing lines,
Yeah.
who's to say that the horrible green lady isn't like a sentient plant type thing? You
I
know
want it
how
to
I
be-
feel about my smart
Yeah,
plants.
but I want it to be like a swamp witch, like in Legend,
It
where
still
she's
could
like,
be.
Jack.
Well, I mean, if a plant becomes sentient and has long claws and seaweed-like hair, why can't it be a I mean, it might know arcane shit, therefore
Dude.
making it a witch.
Think about this, dude. Weird boobs.
I mean, it could be just
Oh,
basic
boy.
drowned ghost. And so.
Oh, drowned ghost.
Oh,
that merged with the
yeah.
plants to become.
Oh,
Sounds like
shit.
your basic drowned ghost.
Chris Baggins over here.
Yeah.
You just gotta get the cool glass.
Yeah.
Make
jungles,
the glasses just a little bit bigger. Get the huge ones.
Sea hag galore, man.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Well, shit. There you go. Be careful, kids.
Unfortunately, these 3 cases are sparse in the detail department. It would be nice to have a clearer picture regarding the size, features, and appendages on the green-colored scaly humanoid that erupted from the water in Saginaw, just as it would benefit us to know more about the whereabouts, scale, color, and other characteristics of the evidently mermaid or perhaps naga-like, remember it had a long tail, thing spotted by Frank Reed in Alaska. And I would about kill to know all of the circumstances under which the grade schoolers came across this classic sea hag in Oahu, just like we discussed. Alas, it is not to be. Nunnally reported other lightning-quick encounters, which are, unfortunately, all but impossible to follow up on, but are nevertheless intriguing. About our 5th case, he wrote, quote, another entity which fits into our reptilian or amphibian category was seen in Huntsville, Utah on the evening of June 13th, 2005. At approximately 1:30 a.m., a couple enjoying a discreet interlude at a place called Cemetery Point, right next to Bull Point.
Yeah, dude. I can go to Bull Point and be like, dog, we're going to go fucking Cemetery Point.
Were startled by the sudden appearance of a strange creature walking on its hind legs, end quote. The amorously inclined duo described the thing as being tall and hairy, which, for most Fortean-minded folks, quickly tallies with a Bigfoot or perhaps Dogman sighting. But the eyewitnesses added an interesting caveat to their description, claiming that the hunchbacked creature in question looked very reptilian in overall appearance. This description is not unlike the notorious Mill Race Monster, episode 17, which we brought up earlier, which witnesses claim also bore a combination of ape-like and reptilian features. But whatever this thing was, the couple, the mood now completely ruined, could only stare in horror as the beast made a terrible gagging sound, then dropped to all fours and disappeared into the darkness, scampering like a deer.
Oh, the deer runs creepy.
Yeah. Especially if it is a
gross.
fucking repto ape.
Yeah, and it runs like a deer. You're like, look at that goddamn
Gagging the whole way.
That's terrible.
Oh, the listeners just loved that.
Yeah. Well, now you got the feeling.
yeah, exactly.
That terrible gagging feeling.
Yeah, and I run like a deer.
Weird.
And look back and be scared.
Run like a deer.
Run like a deer.
Could you imagine if someone said it to you? Go run like a
I'm
deer.
going to tell Nicole that. I'll be like,
Oh.
baby, I want you to run like a deer.
All fours. Scamper like
Come
a deer.
on, run like a deer, girl. Come on.
God damn it.
She will.
The divorce papers will come imminently.
Yeah, they would just appear out of nowhere. Like, oh man,
He told me to run like a deer, all sexy, creepily like. So I.
The spell has been broken.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
The curse has been lifted.
Case 6 took place on the evening of November 6th, 2003, near Tucson, Arizona, where 2 unnamed women, a mother and daughter, claimed to have been attacked by a similar man-sized, semi-ape-like hybrid beast. But this one came complete with glowing eyes and a reptile's spiny back. It's almost like a chupacabra-y, like this big spikes going down the back.
Ooh.
The mother claimed that as she and her daughter were approaching her car, the pair were shocked when an utterly unidentified animal suddenly leapt toward them from a crouched position. The woman claimed that it used this fluid, almost frog-like motion to spring toward them as it emitted, quote, a terrible hissing sound from its mouth, end quote. I don't know where else it would, but it's just disturbing.
Ah, from its eyes.
Petrified, the mother grabbed her daughter and held her close. As the horrible hissing thing drew closer, she closed her eyes, preparing for the inevitable. But at the last moment, the semi-reptilian primate-like beast suddenly veered off, vanishing as swiftly as it had appeared, leaving the relieved but still horrified women to scramble into the vehicle and make off with haste. So again, just another primate-y, semi-reptilian, not necessarily associated with water this time,
Okay.
as in most of the other cases.
There
but still.
could have been a puddle or lake nearby.
Could have been any
Fine.
number of
Pond.
things nearby.
A nice little river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that there wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
swamp.
Yeah. Oh,
Why not
swamp. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Way
Tucson,
better.
Arizona.
There's
So
tons of swamps. That's the big. That's
Dude,
the
that's
most swamps in the
swamp.
country, or in fucking Arizona.
legendarily humid, swamp-infested Arizona. You're right.
Per cubic square foot of Arizona, there's
I thought everyone knew this.
It's 98% swamp. We know that.
Yeah.
11% bog. It goes well over 100.
Dude, what if it was near the Hoover Dam and that was this thing's fortress?
Oh, my.
Yeah, dude. It's like fucking Snake Mountain, dog.
A monster would definitely take that thing over in the end of days and make it its like palace of doom.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have to cross it,
that would definitely be where one of the bosses live.
100%.
Like, you have to go there and fucking battle the fucking thing, scale down it, defeat the boss. Sucks.
Every time.
I don't know if no one's, I've been there and you guys have. It's fucking scary when you're looking down that thing. I'm terrible with heights. So I got like instant vertigo. I'm like, I'm going to fall forward and I'm just going to go to my death.
Yeah, the slow, forever hellish tumble to doom.
Kind of like a slide.
Yeah, it is a curve, right?
It's curved, yeah, but it's so deep and so big and so fucking crazy that it just fucking.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah,
want
no, I was like grabbing. I was like
get vertigo.
grabbing shit. I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god. It was, I was hammered. It didn't help, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
Hammer at the Hoover.
Fucking Arizona, dude. Come on now.
All right.
Arizona, Nevada. Let's do it.
So we got piles so far.
Yeah.
Classic reptiles, ape-like reptiles, a sea hag for good measure.
Reptiles.
Yep. Long-tailed,
Yep.
short-tailed, long-necked,
Big head.
red furred.
Weird boobs.
Now we're moving on to our last case.
Okay.
And I saved this one for last. Usually I go chronologically, but obviously I've been skipping around a bit because this one unnerves me a little.
Oh, okay.
Our final case took place on a Saturday sometime in 1958 and involved a trio of teenage girls who, while making their way home in the New Mexico portion of the San Luis Valley, had a run-in that was pure fucking nightmare fuel. This case is one that, at least for me, ranks as one of the outright freakiest encounters on the books, proving that semi-aquatic cryptids don't require oceans, lakes, or rivers to stalk their prey, but can make do with even the tiniest bodies of water. According to Nunley's account, a group of girls, including 14-year-old Priscilla Garduno Wolf, were playing basketball at a friend's home in Sanford, New Mexico, when the shadows started growing long in the late afternoon, and it was decided to call it a day. As Priscilla and two of her friends were saying goodbye to the rest of the girls, their friend's mother came outside with a concerned look on her face. She warned the three teens to hurry home without delay, adding that over the course of the last few nights, she'd seen a strange, tall, man-like figure standing on the other side of the fence across the road from their home. Intrigued, and likely more than a little anxious, the girls listened to the woman describe this towering figure as standing completely still next to the roadside ditch, which was full of roiling, muddy water for irrigation purposes, never so much as moving a muscle even when the clearly agitated dogs barked at it. Almost certainly unnerved by the woman's tale, Priscilla and her two friends set off, but before long the trio likely began to relax. There was no sign of the lanky intruder, and besides, this was the same road that they'd walked on so many times before. As the searing, late afternoon rays of the sun only exacerbated the already sticky afternoon, one of the teens suggested that they, quote, wade in the water of the irrigation ditch for a while to relieve some of the summer heat. So they took off their shoes and stepped in. They had made it less than a block away from their friend's home when they spotted a man-like shadow standing on the other side of the fence by the ditch.
Man, that is why you don't fucking wade in road ditches, dude. That's all runoff.
That's just one of many reasons. It's runoff shit.
Know, right?
It could be full of glass, leeches, fucking, I don't know, brain-eating parasites.
And then you got tall, creepy guy next to it.
Snapping turtles.
Yeah.
Devils. Sharp rocks.
Snorks.
The deadliest. Freshwater snorks you don't fuck
Can you
with.
imagine like seeing a road ditch
Rogue snorks.
and you're like, is it a fucking rogue snork
Yeah.
down there? Like, what the fuck?
Mutated sea monkey.
Yeah,
Same difference.
dude. As Chris says, a mutant.
Mutant.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So,
this is bad ideas.
They're
here.
splashing around in the old muddy water, trying to cool down. Up ahead, they see the thing.
Definitely got septic tanks leaking into this fucking thing. Just turds. Just pissy turd water.
Turds and open wounds. The funnest combination.
It's my job, actually.
Funnest.
Turds and open wounds.
Though the exact exchange between the girls went unreported, it seems likely that there was some debate as to whether or not they were looking at an actual animate, albeit a mobile figure, or if it was merely a collection of bramble and shadows. Perhaps someone had made a sort of massive figurine to frighten their friend's mother. If so, that would explain why it had no reaction to the angry barking of the dogs. Either way, perhaps in an effort to prove their moxie to their peers, it was decided that they would remain in the watery ditch as they walked by the looming scarecrow-like figure. The shadowy thing remained stock still as the girls warily passed through its shadow. But if the teens found themselves comforted by the fact that this thing gave no indication of life, their relief was destined to be short-lived. The girls continued splashing through the ditch, no doubt casting nervous glances back at the wiry figure, when, without warning, the formerly immotile object suddenly leapt over the fence and dove into the water behind the young women, submerging itself into its mucky depths. Then, with a swell of surging brown water boiling before it, the creature began swimming toward them at a furious rate.
What in the actual fuck?
Yeah.
It's swimming in the ditch water?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you know, I don't know how deep this could possibly be.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
Even
That
if it's
seems
like a foot and a half or so, and it's a thin thing, you're still going to see like part of its spine or something sticking out. And then you just see it like just coming at you Tremor style, but instead of kicking up dirt, it's kicking up all this filthy fucking water.
It's just swimming into fucking gross shit. And it's just, I don't know why that bugs me so much, but it does. This has a weird ecosystem this thing lives in, okay?
well, it could be part of the water.
Just trash water. Ooh, part of the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing that's made of water can dive in not so deep water and be okay, right? And be okay.
Well, I mean,
Things
again,
made of water.
if it's very thin,
Your hand motion got me. I'm on board with you now. Yeah.
and it's only described as being essentially semi-humanoid,
Right.
masculine for whatever reason, maybe it had broader shoulders and thin, and also I guess maybe something you could confuse with bramble.
Okay.
So if it is sort of almost stick thin or just like weirdly, emaciated,
Right.
then a lot of it could probably fit in water. And even if it's only partially sticking out and it's not really swimming so much as digging its way, like its claws embedded in the dirt floor, yanking itself forward, the fact that it's coming so fast and, furious, pardon that expression for being used,
dude, family.
is what's disturbing.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's fucked up regardless.
It's pretty fucking gross, dude.
Shrieking in terror, Priscilla and her friends barely managed to dig their way out of the slippery hole before the unholy terror was upon them. Not bothering to put on their shoes and too horrified to look behind them to see if this thing, whatever it may have been, was in pursuit, the three girls sprinted the rest of the way home, where they arrived presumably in a state of terrified agitation. What reaction, if any, their parents or guardians may have had regarding their encounter went unrecorded, but Priscilla claims that she and her two friends managed to reclaim enough of their courage to, despite the inherent dangers, return to the irrigation ditch the next day. I would not have fucking done that. I don't know if I'd gone outside again for weeks at least.
You gotta bring like a torch with you or something, like just a stick with fire in it, like hunt this fucker like it's Frankenstein.
You need weapons, better weapons than
stick with
fucking
fire
fire.
Yeah, dude, the torches, dude, burn this fucker. Dude, you get your dogs, you encircle it, you trap it in this thing, you pour gas on it, and then you fucking lay it on fire like it's Jason Voorhees.
I mean, I see some validity to this.
Yeah,
I would arm myself with something better than fucking, I don't know, primeval
A stick
Victorian
with fire
weaponry.
on it.
Well, there's a couple girls, okay? They got a stick of fire. One can get a machete or a pitchfork.
All right, there. Now you're talking.
They can
Okay, pitchfork.
Yeah, there's more than one weapon.
Ranged weapon.
I just
Makes sense.
I didn't think it through before I talked.
Sure.
Bring a weed
Pitchfork with fire on it.
Yeah, bring yeah, dude, cover the pitchfork and gasoline. No, that'll explode. Something kerosene maybe. Lay it on fire. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Dude, fire sword, dude. A sword of fire.
Yeah.
Once there, according to Nunley, she, quote, found strange three-toed footprints beside the ditch left by the creature she refers to, as the lizard man,
Oh.
end quote. As to why Priscilla chose to dub the thing Lizard Man, we can only speculate. Perhaps it was that the odd prints most closely resembled those of a reptile, or maybe in those scant few seconds between when the bellicose beast sprung into action and dove into the muddy ditch, she was able to discern some distinctly lizard-like characteristics. Whatever the answer may be, it seems likely that none of the teens were ever again comfortable walking down that rural stretch of New Mexican road, or near any other body of water for that matter, no matter how small it may be. I know I would be. I'm just totally fucking projecting my own anxiety onto that.
Yeah, dude, swimming pools are out, dude.
What these things are, and one must assume that there are more than one point of origin for all the varied creatures contained herein, is a matter of speculation. Some certainly are cryptids, unknown animals who from time to time make an unexpected appearance to the horror of those who happen to be nearby. What the others may be, who knows? Some perhaps are water sprites or aliens or even interdimensional entities that just happen to resemble earthbound amphibians, fish, or reptiles. Wherever it is they originate, the one thing we can safely assume is that, like all groups of animals, some inevitably turn out to be predators. And there's no reason to assume that at least a few of the individuals who were last seen wandering near the bucolic splendor of an isolated lake, pond, river, or stream, and are now a part of the unenviable ranks of the now notorious missing 411, were not themselves victims of some scaly, moist monstrosity who emerged from the depths to protect its territory, or, more frightening still, to feed.
Oh, shit.
U.S.A. bitches.
There
now
it
chant.
is
Yeah.
USA. USA.
Anthropoids.
Anthropoids.
Some are moist. Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the dark, wet corners of the world. Amphibious, Anthropoids, USA.
Boom.
Here today.
For America.
Yeah.
Did this for America.
God damn it. Son of a bitch.
And our own edification.
Yeah.
Damn it, son of a bitch.
That last story is pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah.
It is kind of like out of all the bodies of water, okay? During the intro, when I read drainage ditch, I'm like, oh, he's going to throw something in here. I didn't realize it was going to be like a man-sized figure swimming in a drainage ditch.
No, you'd think it would be time for tiny cryptids.
Yeah, something smaller.
That's what, yeah, I assume.
you know,
Little
like some
baby
weird,
otter cryptid,
yeah.
but it's half reptilian or whatever.
No,
No.
man. Well, this thing was hanging outside of it next to a fence, though.
Yeah, just standing there, not
Weird.
moving.
Maybe
for days.
Actually, maybe it does use these drainage ditches as how it travels through the lands. Just a drainage ditch, and when there isn't one, it just gets up and walks till it finds another one, and it dives in and just keeps going.
Like a crawling
What
catfish or like a frankenfish.
Shitty way to fucking travel, though.
I mean,
That sucks.
I don't. I think we just assume that just because it dove into, but it seems like it dove in to go after them.
yes.
Like if
Right.
it didn't, then you might not say that's how it traveled.
Yeah, no, I'm giving this thing an entire extended universe.
Hear
that
the
it doesn't have.
backstory.
Yeah, I'm giving it the
came
backstory.
from
From ditches long ago,
Right.
back in the plague era,
Right.
and it's been crawling in them millennia ever since,
yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
the septic avenger instead of the
Oh my
toxic.
God.
Avenger.
Yes,
Yeah, it's the
dude, yes.
sci-fi movie.
There it is. Nailed it.
The septic revenger. Oh my God, that's way that's way
God damn
better.
it. Save it for Patreon.
It's too late.
No, save it. Septic Revenger. God damn it.
So Chris is, of course, right in the sense that we really don't know the background or agency of this thing.
Yeah.
But Mark might also be right in the sense that what better way to maneuver and conceal yourself, especially if you are tall. If you are like impossibly thin, it's referred to as a lizard man, so we can assume it had some reptilian characteristics, though of course they were not, listed
Right.
in any way.
Well, 3 toes.
Yes.
Not that that's a thing, but
And that's like, that goes back to like the Honey
Skateboard.
Island swamp monster, skateboard, so many of the classic lizard men sightings. So if you are one of these types of creatures and you can hide in almost any body of water, or if something like is about to drive by, a pickup truck or something, you just dive right in and no
Right.
one's going to see you in the muck. It's a useful form of concealment. It's a useful way to travel and not be seen, especially if it is a river or something a little more substantial that you can easily hide yourself
yeah.
in. So there's no reason to suppose, and we've talked about this in a lot of different, in regards to a lot of the different creatures we covered in this pod, that the waterways of America, especially the Ohio River and things in that area, but just about anywhere, could definitely be just crawling with creatures we can identify that use these as perfectly concealed highways
Yeah.
to migrate to wherever they need
It
to
is
feed, breed, whatever they're doing.
It is a great way to travel, I
Right.
mean, because you just have the ability to kind of disappear but still move.
But when I was a kid, just getting back to a personal perspective, I used to fuck around in every creek, stream, exaggerated puddle I could
No, same,
find.
man.
I would look
No,
for
sure, I love
crawdads
that
and
shit, too.
salamanders
Yeah.
and finding lake monsters and finding out later they were probably mud puppies, the whole 9 yards. That was my jam. I mean, you would not think, like, as a guy that does not want to be discomforted at all, I used to spend all my time out in fucking woods and rivers and whatnot. Or what passed for him around here. So I can really identify with like being out in the country, like when I visit my aunt out there and my cousin, and he was just like a classic old school, country kid, shooting his BB gun, dicking around, and we'd go on little adventures and I'd splash around in the drainage ditch, and I can feel that kind of horror, especially if the sides were a little bit steep and it's already muddy because
that's
they're
what I
putting
kind of
water
picture
through.
it was one of those kind of
deep.
fairly deep ones.
Because it's
but-
an irrigation ditch for farming purposes. It's not just drainage.
Yeah.
So maybe, these young kids, teenage girls are having a hard time digging themselves out. All of a sudden, I'm seeing like Joe Beth Williams in Poltergeist in the pool scene at the end where it's like slick with mud.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating everything cinematically,
No, yeah, I don't
but
yeah.
you have to. But when you're panicked, you don't get good grips. Like some people are aces under, duress and they can just jump to action and go. Most of the human race sucks, and even the simplest task becomes impossible because of sheer
You're
terror.
just tripping over everything.
Yeah, leaving your shoes behind.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was filming a dramatic reenactment of this, I would definitely do it as cinematically and horrifically as possible. But definitely the last shot would be the girls running away and this thing surging out of the mud without actually seeing it closely, with like a lonely shoe left in the dirt road in the foreground.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And you just know whatever it was terrifying. Maybe it wasn't going to hurt them, but you have to assume the worst.
I mean, it did go after him.
This thing went after him.
Yeah.
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
you don't want to see that kind of like it's things. The first she sees it, that's weird that the mom's been seeing this thing just standing there. So
Yeah, and
why
the,
fuck are
the
you just standing there
dogs
after
are
being that
reacting
thing?
to it.
And they're not afraid of it, apparently.
Yeah, but then just just anything coming after, especially in water, because that's not your home turf,
No.
right?
Yeah.
No matter how deep it is. I mean, if it was just knee high, I guess maybe. But
Yeah, even
That
then,
sucks.
man, it's like you said.
there's nothing to. It's ground. It's hard to get out of that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
and
why
you're
would-
at
And
a
already
sub-
slick from the mud.
You're
Yeah.
at a severe disadvantage.
if it was any deeper than knee high, I would not go in it.
Yeah, no way.
I just would not do
no
that.
waist high muck water.
And it might have been nearly waist high. I mean, I don't know, even no matter how hot it is, I don't know if you'd want to like
No.
literally go in belly button deep.
No, Jesus, it's
Run off.
literally
No.
it's farm field and fucking rain and storm and septic. All kinds of shit are probably running into
But
that
we're
thing.
not country kids in 1958.
That's true. We're not.
You
Yeah.
know, we're true.
Don't fucking count it out.
Dude, there's ever a time for the three
Always
of
the
us.
naysayer.
Yeah.
Thus
yeah,
far.
Rob, why are you stopping my dreams?
We do not know what it's like to be living in a place where there's absolutely dick all going on, except basketball games with your friends, walking around, doing whatever
Playing
you
in
do.
Fucking septic
Right.
streams.
And you're splashing around in what the closest thing to a pool might be for God knows how long on a hot summer day.
I'm gonna go down there with Mary Beth. She's got her bikini on.
Well, a lot of people went to local swimming holes, colloquially
Yeah,
spoken swimming holes.
Do the
Yeah.
raft. Think about
Right.
it.
Like
Oh,
the
the
raft,
swimming
exactly.
holes of
the Wraith.
I was gonna say,
You remember the
as
Wraith?
per the Wraith,
Which was the coolest swimming hole
Oh.
ever.
just like
it was all rock
the Grand
plateaus
Canyon, and then
rivers.
just like a river run.
That movie's so weird. I know
Yeah.
we chop it off every now and again into the
Wraith.
pods, but that movie is
As per the
it's
Wraith.
not perfect. And every time I try to rewatch it, I'm like, what the fuck did I see in this movie? But whenever I'm
No,
done, I'm
it's
always
fun
like,
every time. Though.
there's really cool moments in this.
yeah.
Clint Howard rips.
I love it.
But that fucking swimming hole with Sherilyn Fenn, who was hot as the devil's
Yeah,
balls,
well, that
needless to
helps
say,
too. Sherilyn
was
Fenn
one of the
always there.
coolest, like all sorts of little places you could park and picnic and bathe and sunbathe and swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Watch the fucking Wraith. But back to this, shit in water is terrifying.
Dude.
Yeah.
And when it's in a fucking puddle, basically,
Yeah.
an exaggerated puddle.
We all joke like, "Oh, puddle of water. There's a monster." No, there really was. There fucking really was.
Yeah,
There you
that
have it.
one time, and that's all it takes.
Oh well, son of a
One
bitch,
fucking
kids.
time.
No, for sure.
Keep yourselves out of dangerous water type situations.
Any water, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
No,
Check your
water,
pools before you get into them. You never know what might be taking a nap there.
Yeah,
know
that's
what
the only
time-
thing I would go swimming in is something that clear that I can see.
Right.
That's it.
I mean,
Agreed. Agreed. 100%. I mean, I'll still go in an ocean occasionally, but not too deep.
I don't even think I would do that. Man.
But fresh bodies of water, especially murky ones.
Fucking jellyfish.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
man of wars and sharks and whatnot. But
yeah. No, when I was in the ocean, they were like, "Don't go too far. The cartel's out there." And I'm like, "What?"
you're gonna swim into a fucking drug deal gone wrong?
Wait, like,
I thought it was like it was a fish, or I wasn't understanding.
did they build a
three
base
lobe
underwater?
like, what do you mean the cartel?
The underwater cartel
we
base?
we were told not only at night, but when you were swimming, there was. And this is in Mexico, and back in when my wife and I got married, and we were on vacation there, and she swam in the cenote of death, and I got hammered in Chichen Itza. That if you went too far, that they're like, yeah, there's boats, and the cartel will come up and kidnap you and take you away, and that's it. And I'm like,
oh my
thinking
God.
I'm thinking it was a fish. I'm like, oh man, I thought it was a cartel shark. I'm like, Jesus
to
Christ.
kidnap you and take you away for ransom, and you still assumed it was a fish?
Well, after they explained to
he
me,
clearly said he was just hammered.
yeah, I was,
Right,
yeah, but
that's
after they explained it, I'm like, oh, thank God. What I was getting at is after they explained it, I'm like, thank God it was not a cartel shark that I'd never
Right.
heard of before. So yeah, and
so
then
water's dangerous.
at night, we were taking pictures on the beach, and the armed guards came over, and they're like, "Sir, you can't do that because there's possibly cartel boats out there that will come up on the land and take you." And I'm like, "Man, the cartel's busy. They have a whole thing here just taking people. Where do they take them to? Is it a party?"
You were at a resort too.
Yeah, I know. It was an all-inclusive resort.
Yeah,
The Maya
clearly.
Riviera and the Mayan Riviera, motherfucker.
Why
and
would you go to a resort where you can't go on the beach because of a chance of kidnapping?
Didn't know it was that bad. I mean, we didn't have anything happen to us. I don't think anyone had ever had anything happen to them there. It's just they're saying that's one of the tactics at the time that they were using. So they're like, "Hey guys, dear Americans, be careful. By the way, enjoy the French fucking buffet." So
There it is.
Is there
Yeah.
nothing they can do about it? Like put some boats out there to secure the.
well, they had, dude, they had
Nothing you can do
armed.
about it?
There was guards on. There was guards with fucking AR-15s on the beach. I'm like, man, these guys are like they're intense. Like, what's going on here? I'm like, oh, that's why.
That sounds really unvacationy to me.
I had a great time.
I know it sounds
Did
like
not
I'm
have it.
slamming it, but I'm just like
No,
that
dude.
spot. That doesn't sound.
I think a lot of
Suboptimal.
Yeah.
what I saw there was just a lot of precaution. It wasn't. There's very little danger, if any. I mean, we're on an
but
all-inclusive
you just don't
resort.
want to be like, hey, we're on vacation. Let's go to the beach. Never mind those tanks and the fucking guy with the fucking harpoon.
But to be fair, that is the last time that I was out in the ocean. I did not go to the ocean when we were in Florida. Don't believe we were near this. Disney near the ocean? No, it's not.
It is not.
Did not have access to the ocean at the time, or did I?
I mean, it was
don't
relatively
know how
close.
far
You
it
could have
is.
found
I don't
it.
know if I did or
Yeah,
not.
I
I don't
mean-
think I did. That was the last ocean I was in Mexico. I'm pretty sure. I don't fuck around in lakes. I don't even go in my own goddamn pool, for a matter of fact. You know why? The cartel's there waiting to get me.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
There
like,
you
kids,
go.
good luck. You guys are chancing it. I'm coming to get you when they get you.
You guys go on the far side of the pool. You're taking a chance of getting kidnapped.
Goddamn chance.
Jeez
The pool
Louise.
cartel, dude. You need to fucking hire. You need to hire somebody to stand at the far side of the pool with a fucking gun. Kids start like,
God.
Dad, there's a guy in the
Yeah,
pool.
but
Told ya.
This is why you fucking kids don't listen to me. And you see what
Now we got a pool
happens?
cartel.
Fucking
Way to
pool
go.
cartel.
Fucking
Don't listen
wow.
to Dad and get a pool cartel.
Oh my god.
Fucking chlorine cartel. That's when we get you, baby.
Dude, holy shit. Kids, stay safe. Stay away from water. Be careful of monsters and fucking. Hey, you know what, man? Have yourselves a fucking great summer because summer's officially fucking
is.
kicked off.
Happy America.
There it is.
If
Cryptonaut
you're American,
Podcast.
and happy America if you're not. Fuck it. Enjoy whatever you can.
This starts my season, dude.
I know.
This
This is your
it.
Halloween
This
season.
is my Halloween.
My
This goes,
season.
dude. This goes until Halloween
we
now,
know.
dude.
We,
This
we
is
know how it works. I know.
This is just all my sleeves are cut off. The Crocs are out. I'm staining all my clothes, doing yard work and shit, covered in beer, getting the stomach bug. We're going to talk about that on Patreon for a good 10 minutes probably, but regardless, doing
Okay.
yard work, it's a good time, man. Summertime mark's here. I'm here for it. I'm here for you. You'll be here for me.
You know it.
All right. Well, speaking of people that are there for us, Robert, Patreon shout-outs.
Oh, fucking a nice segue,
Let's
bro.
do them,
Holy
sir.
shit-tolies.
Didn't
Let's do
think-
this.
That's how
that's
you
right.
didn't think I was going to wrap that up, did
No,
you?
I mean, I thought, we're in the big cryptid cartel. I didn't know where things were going to go from here.
Speaking of that, Nicole and I were talking about going back at some point because it was so fucking awesome there.
To Mexico.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, it was so much fun. Holy shit. What a-
Right on. All right. Our patrons, our brand new patrons who we want to fucking thank
Yes.
heartily, as well as our already existing ones. Begin with Donald Fleming,
Thank you, Donald.
Joshua Nelson,
Hell yeah, Josh.
Rachel Childers,
Rachel, what up?
Justin Melsack. I almost said Maslak. Justin
I
Malsack.
almost said Molesack.
Juan,
What up, Juan?
One.
the Flatwoods mobster, part of Big Cryptid Cartel all over
Dude, I
again.
love it, dude. It's great.
Travis M,
What up, Travis?
Jenny V, or perhaps Jenny 5.
Oh, Jenny
be
5.
Jenny 5,
I like
Is
Jenny
alive.
5. That's cool.
Andy Cohen.
Hell yeah, Andy. Thank you so much.
Rounding it out, the one and only Nick Jeffries.
Hell yeah, Nick. Thank you all for
Word.
your continued monthly support over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. You can sign up over there, get your bonus audios. If you are on the Patreon, sign up for the Discord because after this episode, me and the boys are going to talk about a movie night in July.
Oh, snap.
Oh, we
Dang.
just got to figure out. It's going to be obviously by Friday. 8:30 EST. We just got to figure out a weekend to do it, so to make sure that
I can't wait. I love movie nights.
So, and we got to figure out what we're going to watch. If it's going to be a vote, if we're just going to say fuck it, we're going to watch what we want to watch. We're not sure yet. But if you're on the Discord, you get to do that. Watch movies with us. You get to hang out, have a good time. It's dope. And again, you can do all that over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. As mentioned in the beginning of the show, it's summertime. Get yourself some merch. TeePublic shop available at hellerspace.com. We also have the crowd-made exclusive shop over there at cryptonautmerch.com. The links for all of this shit is going to be available in the description of this show, so you don't got to remember anything. Whatever podcast player you got, doesn't matter. Wherever this episode is, there will be a link to all of these things. You can just click. You ain't got to worry about typing shit in. It's cool. Or better yet, visit cryptonautpodcast.com. It ties everything together.
Yes, you do. You have a special page.
And there's even a search function on the website that you could be like, hey, did they do this? Or hey, did they ever do this? And you can search little keywords. I had to look up Pennsylvania.
You did.
And you know what? I don't know how to spell Pennsylvania. Do you know what I put in? PENN. And you know what came up? The story that we were going to do for fucking Patreon. But we're not going to do it now.
We are now at the point where we are dangerously close to repeating ourselves.
Yeah, we are. It's okay.
I have to constantly reference back. Like I used to have it all in lockdown. I felt good about myself. And then after, I don't know, like the mid 200s, I'm like, oh, fuck, I feel like we talked about this, but I don't know if I just read about it. I wrote notes about it, if we've actually covered it, if we covered it in a Patreon. We actually retreaded centaurs in our Patreon, which ended up being fun because Pepe and Lost Boys got brought into the mix.
It was. Oh, but, yeah, horsey girls.
But fucking, we're at the point now it's getting dense, but we do the due diligence to make sure we don't get too repetitive.
I bring the story to both of you guys here tonight, and I'm like, hey, Rob, read it. Make sure we didn't do it. Oh, wait, I'm an asshole. I could just use our search function. Oh, guess what? And then we did it.
I am proud, though. I did recognize the first part.
You did, yes. And I kept thinking, I'm like, I fucking know this. It was a Stan Gordon story. I'm like, goddamn, I think I know this. And sure as shit, there it was. So, any hoozle, bonus audio available over there on Patreon. Check that out. Thank you all so very much. Have an excellent 4th of July. What I want y'all to do for me, I want you to light some fireworks. I want you to do some dangerous shit. If you got pit vipers, put them on. You got some Crocs, put them in fucking 4x4 mode. All right?
Wow.
Drinking, fire, all kinds of fun shit. Blow shit up, celebrate America. Chris said Eagle's going to fly in, bottle rocket, Bible, Angel, the baby, everything's coming together. Tanks, APCs, Black Hawk helicopters. There it is.
The full American experience.
America.
A lot of that I didn't say, but
this is all going to be on a mural on my new truck that I'm going to get.
I love that.
Oh, good. All right.
New truck. There it is. All right. Thank you all so very much. Talking to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
See.